Hey guys, how are you? This is Neena Perez. This is Straight Talk, no sugar added, and I am on WINJECT Studios. This is WINJECT TV. I am so happy to be here. You heard that little intro music? Yes, that is from 94 The Genius. And I told them to make me a song that kind of like really spoke to my audience about who I am. And so that little song that you heard there in the intro, that's just a clip of what 94 The Genius has made for me for my show. So I am stoked. It is such a great song. Anywho, I am here to spend this Monday with you. I come on here every Monday at 11 a.m. So if you are not already following the show, please go ahead, click like and subscribe and share and all of that phenomenal stuff. Whether you are watching me on LinkedIn, whether you're watching me on Facebook, on the YouTube channel, wherever you are, go ahead, like, share, subscribe so that we can keep growing this amazing community because it is amazing. So I love being here with you. I love spending this time with you. And I love, just being able to share whatever knowledge that I get throughout my life, throughout my moments in this world. I like to share that with you. So I really appreciate Mondays. So I want you to know that it is very, very I have to stop for a second. I love you too, babes. Happy Valentine's Day to you. That's my beautiful husband. I love you too. So I just love to come on here and share. Like this time it's early in the morning. We're not out to dinner yet, so that's why I'm here. But I wanted to tell you guys that one of the things I just want to do a little quick shout out to WINJECT because they have helped me rebrand my show. They've helped me rebrand who I am. And every single time that I have a podcaster come on my show for an interview, they're like, holy cow, like your show is super professional. And I know it's because of all that WINJECT has poured into me, just giving me tips and tools, and the way they laid out my banners and the way they laid out everything has really increased my show to a whole nother level. And I'm not joking. If you're a podcaster or something like that, or a podcaster, somebody who likes to consume podcasting, I highly recommend you go on winject.com. And I can give you that link if you want it. Really, go ahead and send me an email. But at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com, and I'll make sure to get that to you. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I'm really coming up against a lot when it comes to my audience, if you will, because it's not just my audience, but I'm also going through it with some of my coaching clients that they're feeling overwhelmed right now and a little bit stuck in what they're doing and how to pivot and how do they overcome these challenges. And I realized, COVID did give us the gift of pause, right? A lot of us had to pause to see what was going on in our lives. And what's happening is a lot of people are now like in this place where they're like, I don't know how to overcome some of these challenges, and how do I grow my business, or how do I grow my coaching business, or how do I move forward, or how do I, implement this new drop shipping or this new product line and stuff. And so people are having a hard time moving past challenges. And for me, I'm going to be always transparent. My faith for me was always been a key element in my life to overcoming all of my life challenges, because that's what's really kept me hard and grounded when I didn't want to be, right? And overcoming challenges can be super strenuous if you are looking at it that way, right? Because challenges can serve you well too. They don't always have to be a negative thing. It always can serve you well. And sometimes most of us can see in hindsight, right, when we've gone through some stuff in our life that was really crappy while we were going through it, when you look at it through in hindsight, you go, oh, I see how that helped me, right? And overcoming in life, really, guys, it's not about just like having a one action and go for it. It's usually taking these little small steps, right? These tiny steps that kind of get you to move past what this challenge is for your life. And we all have them, right? One thing I have resolved within me several years ago is I refuse to keep being a victim of my challenges. I refuse. And I am constantly pushing Neena and I expect myself to rise above these challenges. I expect it. It is already something I've placed in my mind that I cannot be a victim of challenges anymore. And I used to look at them like, oh my God, here's another thing. Why are we taking, 2 steps forwards, 5 steps back? And I was always the woe is me type of mentality because I was frustrated, right? And I'm sure that some of you out there, if you can really relate, go ahead and put I relate on there because I want to see it. I cannot be the only one who has felt that way, who has felt like these challenges sometimes don't leave you alone. And you go up one, you go back two, you go up three, you go back five. And it's this freaking like annoying cycle that we go through. But a lot of it is from our minds. It's from our mind flow, how we flow in our mind and in our statuses of how we grow, right? And so overcoming challenges is actually becoming a little bit easier, if you will. Every challenge comes up with different things, right? Thank you. I'm glad you relate. So, me too, right? So one thing that I could tell you is that I have resolved that in my heart and in my life where I go, you know what? Every challenge has become a bit easier because I refuse to give up. At the end of the day, the challenge is coming. The challenge is coming. So just get that in your mind. The challenge is coming, right? But you have to have a resolve within you that you refuse to give up every time a challenge comes, right? Every time a challenge comes, every challenge is going to have to bow down eventually, right? Because it's either you bow down or the challenge bows down. And I want you to have a perseverance inside of you that will outlast the challenge because all of us have been through some stuff, right? I mean, do you ever just get so pissed off sometimes that you either want to go for it completely or the opposite happens where you just want to give up and you don't want to do it anymore, right? But you can't make that an option. That's not an option. And you guys have heard me talk in the past about things that are on the table, right? And one of the things that is off the table is bowing down to challenges that come your way. And perseverance has to be put on the table, right? Because you cannot live life constantly. And this is why I'm speaking it, constantly a victim of your challenges, constantly a victim of your mindset, constantly a victim of the next thing that comes about, right? And I want you to move forward from what you do like today. Don't worry about what you've done in the past and what your patterns have been and how you've, repeated things. So what? Those are learning experiences. We have to take those experiences. And from now to this moment, I want you to move forward. I want to move forward. All right. How do we do that? Because that's one of the biggest questions that I get from my audience or from my clients, my coaching clients. How, Neena? How do I do that, right? I teach people how to master their game. We work on your game plan, whatever that game plan is for you, on your goals, your accountability, your mind flow, and your energy. And what I mean by your energy is how you show up in the world, how you show up every day for you. How do you show up for you? One of the things I will not negotiate on is how I show up in the morning. Even if I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I am grateful for a bed. You see what I'm saying? I have been homeless. I have slept on people's floors. I have slept on couches. I have slept in my car. Okay. So when I even get up on that wrong side, there is no wrong side of the bed when you have a bed. Do you see what I'm saying? So how do you do this? 1% at a time, one step at a time, one moment at a time. That's how you do it. Good morning, Dominique. Good morning. That's how you do it. You get up every day realizing how blessed you truly, really are, even in the freaking challenge, even in the midst of what you are going through. And every day you realize this could be worse. I am in a great position. So even when I am in a bitchy ass mood in the morning, I go, oh my gosh, but thank you that you kept me safe through the night. Thank you that I have a bed that I'm sleeping in. Thank you that I have a family. Thank you that I have a partner. Whatever it is, thank you for air in my lungs. Thank you that I got up today. And I wake up with an attitude of gratitude. I know a lot of you guys have heard that, but that has really pivoted and changed my life. But how do I help my clients get through this? We master their freaking game, and we do it 1% at a time, one step at a time, one moment at a time. And if you think that you can take on 50 things because you're just about to change everything in your life, that is what's going to set you up to fail. And then you're back into this big circle where you don't think you can do it. You're not good enough. You can't, blah, blah, blah. That's because you're doing 50 things. Why don't you try to do one thing at a time and only compare yourself to yourself? If yesterday you did this, today you're going to do something that's going to be a little bit better. And you have to take those little small steps every single day. I promise you, they add up, okay? You are where you are today because of steps you've taken. Now, whether good or bad, both of them are still steps you've taken, right? I always love using me as an example because I think that the only way people can speak into your life is if they have something to give you of value. And I know that the experiences in my life have given me much value, and I've shared this value with many, right? And so a lot of steps that I have done in my life that were not good, that were negative towards where I am today, is my health. I always use that one because that's the best one I can use, because in every other area, I'm kind of killing it. I'm kind of crushing it. All right. I know that I have been, I start from dishwasher to director. I start from like not knowing anything about medical to running a medical practice, like that. Okay. Because I am like that in my mind. I got to get things done. I'm a perfectionist. Let's go. Right. But when it came to my health, I have made bad steps and decisions that have gotten me to where I am today, which is being overweight. Right. And so now I have to now take all of the experiences and things that I have learned 1% at a time, one moment at a time, and make sure that I start improving myself, because nobody can do it for me. Right. So the question is, why not be more intentional? Why can't you be more intentional today about whatever the situation is, right? Why not ask yourself questions that are going to help you develop the steps of where you want to go? Because sometimes we're just living life, guys. We're just like getting up every day, go to work every day, do the same thing every day, blah, 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 every day. And then we're not being intentional about what's happening. And then one day you wake up and you're like, holy crap, how did I get here? How am I in a job that I've hated for 10 years? How am I still here? How am I not healthy when I wanted to be healthy? How am I still here? How did I not, start that business I wanted to start 15 years ago? How did I not do that? Why? You're not intentional. You're just flowing through life and letting stuff come at you, and you being a victim, and you're not doing what you got to do to make stuff happen, right? So be intentional. And you need to ask yourself questions that are going to like maybe trigger you a little bit, wake you up a little bit, right? Some of those questions are like, what is the greatest obstacle in my life already that I have overcome? What's the greatest obstacle? What's the greatest challenge that I already went through? How did I go through that, right? Poverty, rejection, loss of loved ones, being betrayed. How did you get through those? What did you use? What were your skill sets to get through that, right? And how are you showing up today because of that? Who are you today because of those challenges? That's going to give you so much information, right? And it's not bad information or good information. It's information. It's what you do with it is good or bad. Information is just information, right? And so when I sit back and I'm like, wow, how did I get to poverty? One day at a time. One day at a time. Because it wasn't like us, I'm poor. Woo, I'm going to be six figures. No, it was one freaking day at a time, one class at a time, one moment at a time, one job at a time, every day, getting up and doing it again a little bit better. That's how I got through poverty. Okay. How did I get through living in a shelter with my child, right? How did I do that? Every day, getting up and realizing I was still present, I was still alive, I was still here, and I had to do something, right? And so every day you have to think about that, okay? How did you get through it? And how are you going to show up for yourself? Those are really triggering questions because you got to answer them. You have to sit down and do the work, right? You have to ask yourself questions that are really going to help you to develop the new person that you want to be moving forward. All right. So, what obstacles can you expect to face? A lot, right? Because if you're going to be somebody who's starting a new venture, starting a new business, pivoting your career, maybe starting in a new company, maybe you're developing a product, whatever it is, you're gonna really face uh, an entire mountain, if you will, of really big obstacles that are going to come against your goals. Self-doubt, limiting belief, financial challenges, judgment, all of that. But you've done that already in your lifetime. If you look back and you really start to say, how did I get through when I got this job, or when I lost this, or when I didn't have that? You're going to start developing a game plan. You're going to put goals together, and we can talk about this in the next future weeks. I can help you with all of this. And I have some free resources that I'm going to be putting out there soon as my website is being developed, because I need you to win. Because if you win, we all win. Because when you show up better in the world, we all show up better in the world. You see what I'm saying? Right? So what obstacles can you expect while you're facing your goals? Self-doubt, limiting beliefs, financial challenges, your old mindset, your old habits come up, right? All of this stuff. So you need to ask yourself, how do I then intend to overcome these when they come? Because I've had self-doubt when I was doing this. How did I do that? Or maybe you did it and you need help doing that. You need to be honest with yourself, right? So what can you do to start developing who the next you is, right? And then you ask yourself, what can I do to avoid or to overcome those obstacles if they do come? Sometimes you can't. You cannot avoid an obstacle. Sometimes an obstacle is there to help you, believe that or not. It's sometimes what you're facing is what you need to go through in order to get to the thing that you want to get through, right? I had to go and lose everything in order to appreciate all that I have, so that I can be more responsible, more receptive, more giving, more loving, more compassionate, more empathetic to people who lose things, right? To lose their livelihood, their homes, their cars, everything. I don't take that as oh, well, no, I know the pain that came with. That came with a lot of pain. And how do you do any of this? Like, okay, so now I gave you all the stuff that's going to come at you, but how do you do it? One step at a time. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Okay. This is a mustard seed. Now, I don't even know if you can see that. That's how tiny that is. See that? Okay. That's a mustard seed. Do you see how small that is? That mustard seed grows to be 20 feet high when it's a tree and 20 feet wide. Okay? A mustard seed. Did you see that thing? Did you see it? I don't even know if you understand what I'm trying to say to you. It's so small, I could barely hold it in my hand. Like, that's how small it is, right? That is a mustard seed. But how does it happen? One day at a time, one moment at a time, never stopping. That's how it does it. See, for the seed to grow, for what your idea is to grow, for what your business plan is to grow, for what your family structure is to grow, you need to do a lot of work, right? So you have to start developing a mind, and that's where it starts. That's your soil, if you will, your ground, if you will. Let's break up all of those old habits, those old belief systems, all of that, one moment at a time, 1 second at a time. You're going to start planting in there what it is you want to do. So, for instance, I used to always say, see, I just had to correct myself. I used to always say, I am not a morning person. My husband, on the other hand, 4 o'clock, 3:30, he's up. He's already cleaned the house, fed the dogs, did the fish. He's walked them. He's done everything by the time I get up in the morning. Okay. That's how, because he is a morning person. That is his thing, right? I always I'm not a morning person. So here I am dragging my behind out of bed, 7:30, whatever. And I'm trying to develop a routine where I'm getting up a little bit earlier. So I was just speaking to a guy on my podcast, Rob, and he was saying that for him to start developing a new way of being in the morning, he wouldn't get like, he would get up at, instead of 7:30, he would just get up like 7:20 something. So he would take off 6 minutes, which I thought was brilliant, right? Because we try to do hours. Okay, so I'm a 7:30 in the morning person, but I'm gonna go ahead and get up at 4 tomorrow morning because that's what I can do. And then I last about a week or two, and then I'm done. Okay, but what about the concept of taking it a little bit at a time? What about the concept of taking it back just 6 minutes? Right? Now, years forward later, he's a morning person and he's doing like all of this fabulous work. One freaking step at a time. You have to remember, like anything in life, and just like that little mustard seed, you need to nurture it. You need to actually sit there and like develop a strategy around what it is you want to do. You have to care for what you're doing. You have to care for what you're putting together, right? So you nurture it, you take care of it. And you know what the harder part is for that plant, but necessary? Pruning, right? So my beautiful children bought me this beautiful arrow garden. Oh my God, I love it, right? So my plants are like growing like so big. But why? Because I kept pruning them. As they kept growing, I kept cutting, growing, cutting, growing, cutting, growing. And now you have to see this thing like it's going out of the light. I had to like pull the light all the way up. It's crazy, right? But why? Because I took care of it. I fed it. I watched it. I gave it light. I pruned it. I did all of that. Guys, for you to harvest what it is you want, which is the money, the blessing, the love, whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's your family, your business, your career, you're gonna have to put the work. It's not gonna just come because you thought about it and try to manifest it. That's not how this works. You're gonna have to really sit your behind down and think about what it is you want to do, right? And for a seed to grow, it's going to need a lot of work. That little mustard seed that I showed you becomes a 20-foot tree. How is that? This little tiny thing. And then what happens once it grows? It actually then feeds hundreds of people off of the seeds that come off of the one tree. You see what I'm saying? It is time for you to really realize that you don't have to do 100,000 things in 1 minute. Try to do a little bit at a time, and you're going to see the fruit of your labor come to pass. I promise. I promise. Because even while I was going to school to get my bachelor's degree, I didn't start with getting my bachelor's degree. I literally went to school just to get certified, just a certificate. When I got the certificate, I said, wait a minute, this is not enough. I need my associates. I went to the associates. Wait a minute, I don't like just the associates. I went to my bachelor's. You see what I'm saying? But it was one day at a time. And that was while we were homeless, while we were living in people's couches, while we were living in our car, while we were renting a little room. We actually upgraded to a little room. We upgraded to that, right? How? Because one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1% at a time. If I would have thought to myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to end up having that dream house. When I was homeless, I would have been overwhelmed with all that it takes to get that. But because I have slowly started to say, okay, I go forward a little bit, learn. I fall back. Why did I fall back? Okay, this is what I fell back. I can't do that anymore. Boom, go forward a little bit. Oh, I fall back. Why did I fall back? Do you see what I'm saying? It's called pruning, and it takes time. And you guys got to stop beating yourself up every time you didn't get to where you wanted to get to today at that moment because you thought you had to do 50 things, right? As you take the time to develop, you are going to end up feeding the multitude. And what I mean by that is your business idea, your concept, your product, your whatever is going to impact other people's lives, right? And when we can take a small positive and turn it into something that massive, imagine what you can do in your field, in your world, to your people, because people are watching. Right now, maybe a lot of people at the moment don't really believe in what you're doing because that's also something people do. But believe me, they're going to be there when they want to go ahead and harvest some of what you have. Right now, you must be weeded. And this is the hardest part, right? I know nobody likes this, but you are going to have to be weeded. And what I mean by that is in order for you to grow and to be the person you want to be, to actually impact like you want to impact and have the business you want to have or the idea sets you want to have, you're going to have to pull out a lot of weeds. Because that weed is what comes up and is dangerous and it's toxic to you. And just like when if you ever decide to grow a mustard seed or any kind of plant, you will always sometimes see another little weed trying to grow up. And if you let them grow up together, it will wrap itself around the plant and choke it out if you don't kill it. And it's the same thing with these I call them game snatchers, right? People who come into your life and try to rob you of your game, right? Game snatchers. And I'm telling you that you are going to have to start weeding out the dangerous and the toxic weeds from your life in order for you to thrive and to realize your true potential. And that's hard because a lot of times it could be family. It could be like your best friend. You know what I'm saying? It could be like people that you are admiring. And a lot of times you don't realize that these people are holding you back. They are a dangerous weed and a potential, poison to what you want to do. And it's not just people, guys. It's not just people. It's things that you do. It's your habits. It's your mindset. It's the shows you're watching. It's all that kind of stuff that can really start to penetrate your mind in not a good way. Right? But I will encourage you to do that same kind of work that you do in the not a good way and flip it and make something good out of things in your life. So if you are not somebody who likes to read, well, maybe you could do an audiobook or read just 2 pages or something every day until you develop the love for reading. And that's with everything in your life, right? The reason that I've grown, I know that, is because I hated to read. I didn't realize it's because I have a little ADD, so it was hard for me to concentrate and keep on the page. But the more I practice, the more I love to read. All right. So you have to really develop whatever plan is going to be for you. A plant, or you, and I'm using you as the person, but the plant is the analogy, right? The plant needs food and water. You need to really take care of yourself. We must take action to keep it alive, to keep the plant alive, to keep ourselves alive, to keep what we want alive, because people only do what they really want to do. So stop fooling yourself and thinking you don't have enough time. Yes, you do. Get up earlier. Just saying. Right? Or stop wasting your time on things that you shouldn't be wasting your time on. Right? So you do have enough time. You just have to manage your time well. Now, there's 2 different things. You get 24 hours a day. I get 24 hours in a day. I have a friend of mine who was watching me and said, I feel like I'm standing still watching you because you do so much. And I realized I do a lot because I time block myself and I really try to manage what I'm doing. Although sometimes I get overwhelmed. I don't know if you guys are like me. And if you are, please let me know. But sometimes I'll have 50 tabs open on my computer and I'm just like, oh, let me take care of that. Okay, let me take care of this. Okay, and then before I know it, I have 50 things going on at the same time. That's not healthy either. I have to stop myself from doing that. Right? But you have to remember that this might be your early stage. Maybe you're somebody who's already growing and already developing and already have, right? But if these are your early stages, you have to be committed to how vulnerable you can be to the weeds, how vulnerable you can be if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of what you're trying to develop and grow. Take the time to do it. It's freaking worth it. Why is it worth it? Because you are trying to overcome things in your life. And the only way to do it, I'm telling you, I don't care who you speak to. I don't care who it is. The only way you are going to make it to where you want to go, to what your game is, to what your goals are, is one step at a time, 1% at a time, one moment at a time. And you can only do it against you. Only against you. So Dominique, if you're still on here, I'm going to just use you because I've known you and I've seen your growth. Right. And I realize that you have, sometimes taken on too many things, but you have also learned to also only improve with you one step at a time. And it is a beauty to see you grow in that way, where you are taking yourself and your products and you're doing one step at a time. And I see another video and another step at a time. And I'm very proud of you for that. So what I'm trying to say is, all of you who are watching and listening to me, you can do this. There's just absolutely zero reason why you cannot do this. You can 100% do this one step at a time, though. And only compare yourself to you. Only compare yourself to you. Because when you start to compare yourself oh, this one has that, but that one doesn't have it, and why does he, and blah, 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 you will never be able to realize and acknowledge all of what you have and what you bring to the table and what you have that can really impact that next person's life or that business idea or that impact that you have. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing, because then you become a copycat and not actually an innovator or somebody who actually brings something different, a different flavor, a different taste, right? So I just wanted to share that with you guys today, because one of the biggest things I see with a lot of people who are creative minds and want to like impact the world in like this big way is we get really caught up in doing too many things at the same time, and then we're stuck. Then we're overwhelmed. But guys, one step at a time will get you there faster. One step at a time will get you there faster. I promise. Okay. So one step at a time, one moment at a time, 1% at a time, and only compare yourself to you. So what you did yesterday, just add 1% to it. I don't care what it is. Reading a little bit more, meditating a little bit longer, praying a little bit more, whatever that one thing is, add that to your life and do it in small increments, 6 minutes a day. Try that. Okay? Because the only person that you are going to have regret if you don't do this is yourself. You're going to beat yourself up. You're going to regret this big time if you don't do this, if you don't take the knowledge that people are giving you, that they are trying to impart to you so that you can actually be better, right? You don't have to do everything I say. But maybe there's one thing in this whole 30 minutes that we've been spending together that you can pull away and say, you know what? I don't want to do this and this and this, but I can try this. And that's all it's about. It's about improving 1% at a time. And I just want to encourage you guys, because I'm telling you from someone who's been in dark and lowly places, it has been that one step at a time, that little tiny grain of mustard seed that is starting to grow the tree that I want in my life. So I want to thank you guys for being here and spending this time with me. Remember that really cool beat at the beginning of the video, and you'll hear a little bit at the end. That is from 94 the Genius. He makes like all of these great beats and music, and he's an engineer and all this other stuff, and I hired him to make that beat for me, and it is freaking awesome. So you got to let me know how you love that beat. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being on WINJECT. I so appreciate you guys. This is Neena Perez. This is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Go ahead and follow me on all the platforms. Just look for Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.
This broadcast is brought to you by WINJECT Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.